just because you don't have any relationship, or maybe you didn't have a good relationship with a parent when they were living, doesn't mean you can't reconcile that after they've gone. And so Tarpanam is good, but creating or having some sort of heart connection or forgiveness or something like that is also very good. And if you guys don't mind, I'll tell you a short story of my experience and hopefully helps kind of bring it home. My father passed away when I was 13, and I was in so much pain over it that I felt like I had to shut it down. I had to shut down that he was dead. And before he died, he was away for 4 years in rehab. And before that, he had basically terrorized myself and our family with drug and alcohol addiction. But before that, he was the most loving, amazing, creative person in my life and with our whole family. So there was this range of experiences. So you could say it went from like amazing to bad to non-existent to painful. So he died when I was 13. I was in a lot of severe pain, and then I shut it out. Then for a good 20 years, 20 years, I basically didn't have a relationship inwardly. And I also I was going through my spiritual journey and meditating and stuff like that, but I really didn't pay him any mind. But I did kind of feel like he was always around. And then I met Dr. Ply, and it was like, oh, these spirits are really around. These spirits are impacting us. And I just felt like he was always hanging out. But I was like, not having it. So I did a course basically in terms of like helping to reconcile past emotions. And I'm like, I'm really holding on. I figured out that I was really holding on to this pain storage, and knew that in order for me to love others or be open again, I was going to have to heal what had happened in my heart. And I'm not saying this is exactly what you're going through, Donna, or anything. I'm just giving this example so that people can take what they can from it. And so I had to heal what was in my heart. So one day I decided, like, I'm going to go forgive him because he screwed up our family. He, after he was our main breadwinner, right? Like, so after he went on drugs, gambled away all of our savings, and then went away to rehab and then died, my mom was supporting 3 kids on her own. So basically, I could very logically point back to this one person and everything he had done, which screwed up my entire life, right? Like, and if she wasn't having to do that, we wouldn't have been so poor, and I wouldn't have had such a, tough situation in school, or, all of this situation, all these things that I wanted to blame him. So, and I did I was very good at blaming him for a very long time. So finally, I'm like, what's 20 years later? I'm 33. And I realized I need to heal this. So I'm like, well, let's do a ritual. I'll do a ritual. So I thought I'll go to the grave, because I had never hardly ever go to his gravestone. And I'll go there and I'll forgive him. We'll have a conversation. So I think I got flowers. Anyway, I went to his gravestone, and this is where I'm going to ask for forgiveness, or ask him to, this is where I'm going to forgive him for all of this horrible things he did to me. I got there. I'll probably start welling up again. I got there. I didn't even get to the stone. I just saw it, like just seeing his name on there, because I had been so removed and just blocked out anything having to do with him. I didn't have a father anymore. It was just that I saw his gravestone. I walked over and I just fell to my knees, started sobbing, and just asked him for forgiveness that I had blocked him out for so long. And in that moment, my heart opened. The relationship was rekindled. I remember when I was 5 and 6 and 4, and we were like he was so in love with me that we were always together. And so all of that just opened back up. And this love that was there many, many, many years ago, in a relatively short period of time in my life, right? Like, I was probably from 0 to 6 that things were good with him. And then in that moment is where I was like, please forgive me. I've shut you out for all of this time. And then once that happened, there was so much love. I could literally feel his presence in my life. And then after that, other things started happening that reinforced the importance of that. Like, I wasn't making that up, but Dr. Ply said, you should have a picture of your father, like in your room. He wants to bless you. And I was like, oh my God, like, and I was like, okay. So then I put a picture in my room. And then I did this reading, and they were like, your father wants to bless you a lot. You should do this other ritual for him. Like, okay. So I had to do this, and I had already done Tarpanam for him. So I've had more experiences with my father since he's been dead than I did when he was alive. So my point of this story is that it didn't matter as much when they're embodied, because we have so much, we have infinite power to connect with these spirits of these beings who incarnated as our parents in order to give us lessons, in order to bless us, in order to have some sort of relationship with them. So I don't know where everyone's at with their situations, and I hope that this helps in some way to help you understand that it's not limited to when they were in a body, right? And I'm so grateful for the experience to really know that it's not limited to when they're in a body.
Brazil.